Weakness does not hide. Weakness signals. Weakness broadcasts your location to predators you cannot see. Appear strong and people hesitate. Appear neutral and people observe. Appear weak and people calculate your expiration date. This is not cruelty, this is biology, this is economics, this is power. Most people believe weakness deserves protection. They are wrong. Weakness attracts exploitation. The animal kingdom proved this long ago. Predators do not chase the strongest animal, they isolate the slowest. Not because predators are evil, because predators are efficient. Efficiency governs survival. Efficiency governs markets. Efficiency governs human hierarchies. Machiavelli understood this before modern psychology existed. He wrote that men respect strength because strength reduces uncertainty. Uncertainty is expensive. Weakness creates uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers control mechanisms in others. What you are about to understand will disturb you, because weakness is not passive. Weakness is an active invitation. Every hesitation you display becomes market data. Every insecurity becomes exploitable leverage. Every emotional reaction becomes a visible crack in your structure. You believe people cannot see it. They can. Human beings evolved to detect weakness instantly. Neuroscience confirms this. The amygdala scans faces for threat and vulnerability within milliseconds. Before logic activates, before conversation begins, judgment is already complete. This is called thin slicing. The brain makes irreversible decisions with minimal information. Your weakness speaks before you do. Steve Jobs understood this at a surgical level. In meetings, he would maintain silence longer than comfortable. Not because he lacked ideas, because silence creates asymmetry. The first person to speak reveals position. Position reveals weakness. Jobs waited, observed, then attacked precisely. He was not reacting, he was extracting information. This is your first law. Law 1. Weakness is information leakage. Weakness exposes your internal state. Exposure creates predictability. Predictability destroys power. In cybersecurity, this is called vulnerability exposure. Hackers do not attack randomly. They scan for open ports. An open port is not an attack. It is an invitation. Your emotional reactions are open ports. Anger, defensiveness, neediness. Each reaction tells observers exactly where to apply pressure. Julius Caesar understood this deeply. He never appeared rushed in public, even when Rome was collapsing, even when enemies surrounded him, because urgency signals loss of control. Control signals authority. Authority prevents challenge. Modern CEOs follow the same principle. Jeff Bezos rarely reacts emotionally in meetings. And because emotional reaction lowers perceived valuation. In finance, valuation determines leverage. Perception creates pricing. If people perceive you as weak, they discount you. If people discount you, they exploit you. This leads to the second law. Law 2. Weakness reduces your market value. You are not just a person, you are an asset. Assets are evaluated constantly. In labor markets, in social hierarchies, in power structures, value determines treatment. A high-value asset receives protection. A low-value asset receives pressure. This is not morality, this is economic law. Companies protect their most valuable employees. They replace their weakest instantly. Not because companies are evil, because companies optimize survival. You operate under the same system. Your confidence influences perceived value. Your emotional stability influences perceived reliability. Reliability increases demand. Demand increases power. Power increases freedom. Weakness reverses this chain. Weakness reduces demand. Reduced demand removes leverage. No leverage means no control. This is why Machiavelli warned rulers never to appear weak. Appearance shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. Outcomes shape destiny. But there is a deeper layer most people never see. Weakness does not just attract predators. Weakness transforms your brain itself. This is the third law. Law 3. Weakness rewires your nervous system. Your nervous system adapts to your behavior. Repeated submission trains your brain to accept submission. Repeated hesitation trains your brain to expect failure. This is called neuroplastic conditioning. Your brain optimizes for repeated environments. If you tolerate disrespect, your brain normalizes disrespect. If you tolerate fear, your brain normalizes fear. Eventually, weakness becomes your baseline. This is how people become permanently powerless. Not through one defeat, through repeated surrender. Napoleon Bonaparte exploited this principle ruthlessly. He attacked weak armies rapidly, not to destroy them physically, to destroy their psychological resistance. Once resistance collapses, domination becomes automatic. This applies to you. Your internal resistance determines your external freedom. Weakness lowers resistance. Low resistance invites control. Control becomes permanent. This leads to the fourth law. Law 4, weakness creates invisible hierarchies. Hierarchy forms instantly in every human interaction, not through words, through signals, posture, tone, eye contact, emotional stability. These signals determine rank immediately, before conscious thought activates. Psychologists call this dominance signaling. Machiavelli called it authority projection. The principle remains identical. Authority prevents challenge. Weakness invites testing. Testing escalates until boundaries appear. If boundaries never appear, control transfers permanently. This is why strong individuals experience less resistance. They signal consequence. Weak individuals signal tolerance. Tolerance invites escalation. This is why predators test gradually, not to destroy immediately. To measure resistance, your reactions determine their strategy. But here is the part most people never realize. Your greatest enemy is not external observers. Your greatest enemy is internal exposure. This is the fifth law. Law 5. You are broadcasting your weakness constantly through your words, through your reactions, through your behavior patterns. You reveal your internal architecture continuously. People observe patterns. Patterns reveal predictability. Predictability eliminates threat. Once you are predictable, you are controllable. This is why mystery creates power. This is why emotional discipline creates fear. This is why silence creates authority. Silence reveals nothing. Nothing creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates caution. Caution creates respect. Respect creates space. Space creates freedom. This is why powerful individuals appear calm under pressure. Calmness signals control. Control signals danger. Danger prevents challenge. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved, because fear creates behavioral restraint. Love creates behavioral freedom. Freedom invites challenge. Fear prevents it. But fear does not require cruelty. Fear requires certainty. Certainty requires control. Control requires discipline. Discipline requires awareness. And awareness begins with one realization. You are being evaluated constantly, not morally, strategically. Every reaction updates your profile. Every hesitation updates your perceived threat level. Every emotional display updates your rank. You are either increasing perceived strength or decreasing it. There is no neutral state. This realization changes everything because now you see weakness differently. Weakness is not harmless. Weakness is expensive. Weakness costs you opportunity. Weakness costs you autonomy. Weakness costs you future leverage. But there is a deeper truth. The most dangerous weakness is invisible weakness. Self-doubt. Self-doubt shapes behavior subtly. Subtle behavior shapes perception. Perception shapes treatment. Treatment shapes outcomes. This is how internal weakness becomes external reality. This is why Machiavelli emphasized internal discipline. Because internal chaos creates external vulnerability. Internal control creates external authority. This is where transformation begins, not by pretending strength, by eliminating weakness at its source. Emotional impulsivity, validation dependency, fear-based hesitation. These are the true vulnerabilities. Not physical weakness. Psychological exposure, you are beginning to see it now. Powerful individuals are not physically superior. They are psychologically contained. Nothing leaks, nothing exposes, nothing invites exploitation. Their silence protects them. Their calmness shields them. Their discipline hardens them. They become unreadable. Unreadable individuals cannot be predicted. Unpredictable individuals cannot be controlled. Control requires predictability. Remove predictability. Remove control. This is the foundation of Machiavellian self-mastery. Not controlling others, controlling exposure, not projecting dominance, projecting certainty, not eliminating fear, eliminating visible fear, because visible fear invites external control. Invisible fear remains private. Private fear remains powerless. This is the final truth. Your weakness was never the problem, your exposure was. Strength is not the absence of weakness. Strength is the concealment of weakness. Machiavelli understood this. History confirms this. Psychology explains this. Biology enforces this. Economics rewards this. And now you see it. You see how weakness advertises destruction. You see how discipline creates protection. You see how control creates freedom. Most people will ignore this. They will remain exposed. They will remain predictable. They will remain controllable. But you are no longer blind. You are watching yourself differently now. You are observing your reactions. You are sealing your vulnerabilities. You are becoming contained. Because power begins where exposure ends. If you are ready to see what others cannot see, subscribe and continue your transformation.